Hi guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to this, our Sunday podcast. I'm Leanne from Avoiding Broke, and I really hope that you're well. I hope you've had a truly wonderful week and you're enjoying your Sunday and you're really looking forward to the week that you have ahead. Now today, what I wanted to talk to you about in this, our 97th episode of our Avoiding Broke podcast, is that I've been thinking a lot about the things that we control ourselves and those things that we can't control, and how the distribution of our energy is between those two different things. And I wonder, with the things that we can't control, whether we're actually truly aware of those things and appreciate those things that we really can't control, and how much of our time do we actually spend on those things. And for me, they're things like, other people's opinions, what they think of us, what they think of events going on in the world, all of those things. Other people's thoughts and feelings are things that we cannot control, and we shouldn't want to. But also things like the outcome of the efforts that we put in to pursuing our goals or our dreams or things like that. We can't control the outcomes. So, there are so many things. We can't control our past. Our past has already happened. We can't control the future. We can try and influence it, but things happen. And you always hear these sayings like, oh, it was outside of my control, or things like that. And that got me thinking about, well, what is within our control then? What can we control? There is some kind of form of argument to say that we can't control anything, but just bear with me on this one and hopefully it's helpful. But for me, it's, I think, interesting to think about those things that we can control. And one of those things that I think that we can control is where we put our energy. We all have 24 hours in a day, and we choose what to do with those 24 hours, and we choose how we turn up in those 24 hours. And that is a truly wonderful thing once you realise it, that how much control you have over that. But it's interesting to think, where do you put that energy? If you put that energy on the things that you can't control, are you wasting that energy? And that's something that I've really been thinking about recently, is if I put my energy on those things that I cannot control, say the past, or to some extent the future, or be too outcome orientated, or what other people are thinking, then am I wasting my energy, really? Because if I can't control those things, no matter how much you may want to influence them or have an impact on them, are you wasting your energy when actually you could be using it for things that are incredibly positive but still within your control? So that was the first thing that is within your control. Where do you put your energy? So have a think about that, and those ways, that the places and the things that you are spending your energy on. The second thing that I think we can control, and I think it's so important, is the way that we talk to ourselves. I often hear people say, oh, I'm my worst critic, I'm my harshest critic. And it got me thinking, well, if that's the case, and I'm sure that is the case for a lot of people, we set high standards for ourselves and we want to be the best that we can be. But is a more positive way of doing that being our greatest cheerleaders? Should we be our greatest cheerleaders? Should we be our greatest motivators? Should we be that person inside that's kind of picking us up and inspiring ourselves and moving ourselves on? Let's not be our harshest critics. Let's be our greatest cheerleaders. And let's really focus on, that voice inside our head, because it's so important. And I think a lot of us underestimate how important and how much influence that voice inside our head actually has. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing something? Or how many times do you give yourself different advice in your head, even subconsciously, than what you would want to say to other people if they were in the same situation that you were? So I do think that how we speak to ourselves, we can just change our whole mood, our whole outlook, our whole energy within ourselves by tweaking that and making it a positive voice inside our head, an inspiring one and an uplifting one, and let's empower ourselves through that voice in our head. So that's another thing that I think that we do have control over. The other thing that I think we have control over is, our boundaries. We all have things that or relationships that we interact with the world and we should have boundaries on how we do that, and what we're willing to let into our world and what we're not. And it can be very small things too, you know, the amount of time that you spend with on social media or things like that. We can set ourselves boundaries. It doesn't have to be boundaries about letting people in or things like that. It can be boundaries for ourselves as well. We can have healthy boundaries, and those are definitely things that we can control ourselves. It may take some work on some of those things, especially if we've got, say, like a technology addiction, or we just mindfully pick up and scroll through Facebook and things like that, and it's something that you want to kind of step away from a little bit, or at least have more time away from it to do other things, then sometimes that can be quite difficult. But we can work on setting those boundaries, and we can work on changing things, and we do have control over that. And so I feel like those are three, I think, incredibly positive things that we can be doing that's within our control, that can have a wonderfully positive influence on our lives. So we can, you know, we can choose where we put our energy. And sometimes I feel like it helps to write things down. I've started recently, on Jermaine's advice, kind of writing down a list of, not a to-do list, it's more of like a power list, things that I want to achieve for the day. And those things, I say it's not a to-do list because it's not a thing like, you know, do the shopping, put away the washing, those kind of things. Those things don't make it onto my list. The things that make it onto my list are learn about this new topic, read 10 pages of this book, relax and soak my feet, those kind of things, you know, those things that are really important to my well-being, my growth and my development, myself as a wife, myself as a parent. So time with Jermaine and time with Theo goes on that list, and wonderful kind of experiences that we want to do together. So I feel like that really helps with where I put my energy. I'm really trying to think about what I'm putting my energy on. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I think that we can control, and that can make a really positive impact in our life, where we put our energy. The other one is, you know, how we talk to ourselves. It's amazing how many thoughts we have in a day, and that is us talking to ourselves. And if you can make that a positive environment within your mind, then surely that's a truly wonderful thing. And then the last one is those boundaries that we set for ourselves. And that could be, it covers a wide spectrum of things, and it will mean different things to different people. But you know, the interactions that you have with people, what you let into your life, what you allow to happen in conversations and things like that, those are your boundaries. And I think it's really healthy to have some nice, positive, healthy boundaries there. And it could be anything. Like I say, it's what it means something to you, but it's something within your control. So it's worth putting some energy on, as it were. So guys, I really, really hope that you found that useful. I really hope that you're well. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and we're really looking forward to talking to you again next week. And guys, you take care of yourselves, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye guys.